Welcome everyone to the Watchlist, your virtual weekly TV guide right here on the Latiners Network, ready to go over all the shows, documentaries, films released on streaming over the past week. Give you our best recommendations or non-recommendations as the case may be. And of course, at the end of the show, letting you know what's coming out over the next couple weeks so you too can create your very own watch list. Joining us as always is Senor Jaime, aka Chewy. What it is, what it was, what it shall be.
What up, brother? What's going on?
Not much. Another fabulous week of television. Is it really? Uh,
One of them is. One
was
of them
it?
definitely
Is
is.
it really? No, it's interesting. Mixed bag of shows this week, and a couple of big weeks coming. Well, really, in terms of number of shows in a couple of weeks, we'll get into that at the end of the show. Of course, as always, a lot of good stuff. We had what's this? Invincible ending. Its sector season run.
Boo.
Enjoyable as always. Severance or office is closing down about another week or so that's disappointing to hear.
It needs to go
And
away.
he's gonna wait for a little bit, so you can definitely catch up on those. Still got Reacher going on, of course. So a lot of good stuff out there, but we'll focus on what was released or what wasn't released.
Whoops.
American Manhunt, Osama bin Laden. Apparently, they're still looking for him, so they have to withhold the documentary. It was supposed to be released on the 10th, and I went in there I think the 11th, and I was like, oh, let me check this out. And like, okay, it's not there, coming soon. I looked at the date, it said the 10th. All right, next day, and I forgot about it this morning. It's like, oh, yes, right. What happened to the Osama? Still
I
not
know
there.
what.
So I don't
Don't know
know.
what happened, dude. How is?
So it's too good. Nobody could watch it apparently. So move on to the next one. It is what it is. We'll keep an eye out. I'm sure it will drop at some point. I didn't see anything as far as explanation as to why, but whatever. But we'll focus on the shows that did actually come out. That were supposed to come out. Bienvenidos a la familia. Welcome to the family. This is a 30-minute Spanish show comedy. But
Mexican.
Mexican show. Okay. We got a woman who got kids, single parent. The father-in-law is a pain in the ass. Is gonna kick her out of the apartment or the house that they live in. Goes to pay him a visit, and he dies. Has a heart attack, and now they want to hide it from everybody so they can change his will, so they can get some of the world-earned cash that they deserve, apparently. And of course, the wife of the deceased, who got left out of the will, joins in the fun as well. 30-minute comedy, and 30 minutes was probably 30 minutes too long for this show. Garbage, dog shit of a show this was.
Look,
It's ridiculous, and that's fine. But you got to make it funny, and nope, not even close. It was just too stupid. It was like caricatures of people in the show.
uh,
Horrible, Chewy.
and this is typical of Mexican comedies. I think I found. Now, this is not boo bitch garbage. I'm not saying that because that was pretty bad, and that was in
No
English.
one's arguing that.
Uh, Uh, so that's literally as low as you can go. So this is not there, but there is a cultural difference in how comedy is delivered and perceived based on where you're from. And so I look at it, like I said, I look at it in that lens, and it's not boobage terrible. I mean, it has its moments, but it's comedy there is different than comedy here. I mean, here, like look, what was the last one we saw that was really like Deli Boys, right? That we just talked
That
about.
was funny. That was a good show.
That
Yeah,
is funny
yeah.
and ridiculous. It's like
Oh,
it's
it's
like
ridiculous,
recruit.
but be funny.
It's recruit level ridiculous, but it's funny,
Yeah.
right? And this show it is it's just a culture thing. They view comedy and do comedy differently because I've seen it. This is the same comedy I've seen with the guy with the blind guy. There's also American comedy. Some other ones that have come out
Yeah, I'm
that I've
talking about, yeah.
watched. And I don't think you found him to be funny. I don't think you found him to be this bad.
No,
But
this is the worst one for sure.
yeah, this is
Yeah.
this is probably American audiences probably not going to find this or funny or that good as you reflected, but other cultures may view it as because
Maybe
that's how they view comedy.
apparently the Mexicans they do great tacos, but they don't want to laugh. So I don't know what to tell you.
Dude.
I can say I'm Latino, baby.
Oh,
Uh,
you know what? You know what? Before we move on to the next, it's soapbox time, dude.
oh, I know you
MCU.
go. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to go to Nurse Bane this week, but yes, go ahead.
I mean, so it's clearly obvious the lack of Latino brown representation in the MCU or this. version of the MCU expanded universe. We have plenty of African American black actors, right? And heroes, and now the new Captain America, right? That came out
Sure.
and now made the movie debut and whatnot. But it seems like in this universe, uh, brothers, we don't exist. Or we're sidekicks, a la. Now I love Michael Pena; he's funny, but that was literally comic relief.
Well, and
We finally got
he was kicked out of the third Ant Man movie, by the way, Paul.
we have Oscar Isaac. He's not playing a Hispanic man. He's playing an English or
I
whatever. Pick a personality, whatever.
I'm not
It's
getting
not.
into
It's
him
not
right now.
a Hispanic or Latino character or hero for that matter. But at least it's an actor. And then finally, we got one who happens to be from Miami, or at least in the movies, the new Falcon, which is hey great, but it's still sidekick
Sidekick.
action. We get someone that who's front and center. He's no sidekick. He's there kicking ass, street level, and
White
two
Tiger.
episodes, 3 episodes, he's gone. R.I.P. White Tiger. What the fuck?
I'm telling you, listen,
I mean, the man tried to take him down by legal means, couldn't do it. And what they do? They went the illegal route. What the
that's what
fuck,
I'm
man?
saying, and it's and I know a lot of people out there they're gonna start blaming Trump, doing nothing. This happened before Trump. Let's not even bring
Well,
him
no,
into
no, no.
this.
This is an MCU.
This
This is
is
the beginning.
I've been saying this for the longest time, and I love me some MCU, but they are the most uninclusive and racist studio that gets none of the blame. I don't understand. I never understood that. Right, 30 movies. You mentioned the black. We got one black guy. That's Black Panther.
Well. We have Black Panther. We also
One.
have what's his name?
Well,
Don Cheadle
my
as
don't you?
Well, at least look, he's in there. At least. Okay, at least he's in there. Okay, come on. Okay, we have Shang Chi. We got the
No,
Asian
well,
community,
talking
right?
about one Asian guy. One black guy. One out of like
Well,
30 some
actually, two,
movies.
because if you look at Miss
Yeah.
Marvel, technically it's two, right? Or I guess I think Asian. You don't say Middle Eastern anymore. You
Well,
say Asian.
well,
So
okay, semantics, but I get what you're saying.
okay, okay, different regions,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Eastern, Western
One of
Asia,
each.
whatever.
We get one of
Yes,
each. And
yes.
Latinos will still. What's up? The largest minority gets the least represented. I've been saying this for years, and I don't know how the MCU gets away with it. I really don't. And every time that
Now, granted, now, at least they did kill off the white guy before they killed off the brown guy. So that was at
well,
least like we just this great got that right.
well, there's like 800 white guys, so what's one left? Well, who cares? But it's agreed. It really is, and I really thought even Eric on Nurse Spain theorized he might team up with Daredevil, which made sense at some point. It helps him out, gets him out of jail.
You would have
And,
thought,
yeah,
but
okay,
honestly,
it tracks.
maybe
But
they changed it because the actor that actually passed away from cancer, there was a little in memoriam at the beginning of that
no,
episode,
right, I
at the
get,
end.
I know, but they could have put anybody
Um,
in a mask and just showed up real quick.
Well,
Let's be
well,
honest.
well,
Yeah,
yeah,
let's
but I mean,
come on.
whether that played into because that's why they wrote him out because he literally this happened during COVID, post COVID, but pre writer strikes, November writer strikes, and they did 6 episodes, and they retooled it. But I think when they retooled it, he'd actually died that year
Sure, yeah,
already of
of
cancer.
course, yeah,
So
passed. So I get
yeah,
that, but that, that's one character.
so
Where are the
yeah.
others?
I mean,
Where
there's
are the others?
a whole universe where yeah, it seems to
Apparently,
be.
there is the multiverse, but none of the multiverse subscribe to Latino persuasion. Apparently, is
Well,
he?
Sunspot, isn't that wasn't he in the animated X-Men '97?
Anime,
Is it
yeah,
Suns?
anime is different, and that was back in
Oh,
'80s when Marvel
no,
was
no, no. What this? Well, I mean, it's the new
yeah
in the new version.
pre racist Marvel.
Oh God,
Apparently,
stop it!
this pudding you can deny it all you want. It's there. It's all there, and the proof is in there somewhere through all that mess. So it is what it is. So
All right,
R.I.P. Another
let's
Latino brother. I
digress.
mean, I would digress, but
We said what we had to say about
yeah,
that. R.I.P. White Tiger. Que
egregious,
pena.
egregious. That said, speaking of egregious, whew, welcome to the family. Move on to the next one really quick. I was off the show. A lot of people like it. Fantasy show Wheel of Time entering its third season. I assume it's still continuing beyond 3 seasons. I don't know. Chewy, enlighten us.
Yeah, well, I think so. Like I said, I don't know officially renewed for season 4 or whatnot, or what their plan is. I think it's supposed to be at least 5 seasons. But these episodes have turned made a lot better. I mean, these first two, they dropped three, which is annoying, Amazon. But
All right.
the first two were definitely up there with some of the greater fantasy shows, right? A little magic, a little action, a lot of action, a lot of death, a lot of stuff going on. So I think it's, might have found its footing, turned the page. I hope so. We'll see.
Okay, fair enough. Next one, Long Bright River. This was a Peacock show, 8 episodes.
Peacock.
It seemed like a police procedural. I forgot the main actor's name. God, she's
Amanda
Andy
Siegfried.
Siegfried,
Siegfried.
right?
Yeah.
Star. She's police officer in West Philly, working literally Skid Row, the worst part of Philly they can imagine. That's her turf basically, and she discovers a young woman, Skid Row drug addict who's found dead. Later, she finds out it could be some nefarious ways of how she died, not just a regular drug overdose. And she's more tied into it as other girls stop popping up because her sister's also in Skid Row. So now
Hmm.
she's gone missing, and now he's trying to find her, hoping that she's not part of the victim count. Chew, your thoughts on this one so far?
It's okay. I mean, middle of the road. I didn't find it like, terribly, um keep, it didn't keep my attention, or hasn't, it's having a hard time keeping my attention for whatever reason. Not that it's bad, it's just middle of the road, right? It's nothing that, gets me excited in the morning. Say, oh yeah, I gotta watch this show.
Yeah, it's not a police procedural, right? At least not from the first 4 episodes. It's focused. It's more of a drama, right?
Yes.
And the focus is more on her relationship with the sister and her troubled past, what she's trying to
Yeah.
reconcile, as opposed to, hey, there's a serial killer out there or whatever the case is, and they're trying to investigate who's done it. That's part of it, but it's more on the other side. Listen, she's good in it. It's fine. You're right. It's fine. You know,
Yeah.
find myself in the tab and the phone a lot watching it. That's not a good sign. Not to say it's a bad show, but it's not one that has my full attention as I'm watching. It's okay. I'm hoping it ends better than it does. It's still good enough to watch. I mean, if you're very limited streaming options and Peacock is one of them, sure, give it a shot. But if you got like every streamer out there, you can probably bypass. There's a lot of other shows to watch than this, to be honest with you. This next one's interesting, man, because Adolescence on Netflix. It's a 4-part limited series. This one here has been praised by the critics, highly praised. And I'm like, oh, okay, we got something really good here. But a young boy, 13 years old apparently, and he's accused of murder. Brought in killing a fellow classmate, a young girl, stabbing her several times, and now the focus is on, presumably on him, and did he do it, and the family, of course, and the effects on the family. Interesting premise. The critics loving. I was like, oh, I'm excited now, and I don't get it. I do not get it.
Wow.
It's a good show. It's not, but it does the stuff that I liked about it. It's 4 different episodes, and each fall. And I end up seeing it all. It's only 4. Let me just finish watching it. Right. Every hour episode focuses on something different. The first hour was guns blazing, come in, the kid's getting arrested, it's being processed and being questioned and all that. Second episode, a couple of days later, it's a couple of the arresting detectives who are
The investigation, yeah,
yeah
or post
go
investigation,
to
yeah.
high school trying to get motive and the weapon and all that stuff which they haven't found yet. Third one goes like 10 months out, focusing more on a psychological, well, a therapist session with the kid. He's still in prison, waiting trial with a therapist. And the fourth episode, you just focuses on the family, right? Now after that, things is like 13 months after. So, and what's really cool, it's all done in one shot. Every episode is one
Yeah,
shot, right? Very cool, and that works.
absolutely.
That works for it, and that works against it at the same time. One shots should really be restricted to certain scenes and certain sections. When you do it all at one time, right? It lingers a lot. There's a lot of walking around. I'll give you an example why this works. Because one shot, it puts you right in there, makes it feel very real, and I get all that. It's very cool. Very cool. But
Yeah.
at times, there's the fourth one. There's other examples. The most glaring one. They're just a family, so the family has to go from home to like Home Depot. So it's a one shot. So they show them in the car, driving to Home Depot for like 5 minutes, and they're just talking and listening to music, and it's like, okay, this is the kind of scene you just said to skip. Next scene, they're at Home Depot. And I thought you can cut a lot of that fat out, and it really took away from the show, and it's to its detriment. I get why the critics like it. I do. It's cool. That third episode is actually interesting. But a whole hour of a therapy session is a lot. That could have been 20 minutes. I don't get it. It doesn't deserve all the praise. It's not terribly made. But honestly, if you're, into production, high production with the one shot stuff like that, check it out. But other than that, it's kind of boring at times, and it didn't hold my attention fully. Chew your thoughts.
No, I'm with the critics, man. Like I said, I
Fair
haven't seen the
enough.
fourth episode, so maybe that may alter my perception. of how it ends. But the first two episodes were definitely absolutely great. I mean, yes, they did one shot, but it was done beautifully because there's no lingering, right? You go from the cops. There's an interaction with the lawyer, and it goes switches to the lawyer. And he goes to the family, and then one of the members come back, and then switches back. So it does a great job of cutting those spaces and switching from character to character in a seamless fashion, but yeah, using that one cut method of capturing the story, which was great. And even same in the second episode, right, where you had two cops, but they're going between students, teachers, and moving the action along fairly quickly. Third episode, yeah, I agree, it was a tad long, but I understand as far as they're peeling back the layers, right? So you have a case and looking at four different perspectives of it. This is not a procedural where they're trying to
No,
where
at
you're
all.
trying to
Yeah.
determine as a character guilt or not. I think it's pretty clear he is. Unless I'm misreading or misseeing what I saw in the video. Um,
No,
well,
yeah,
maybe
because
actually I wasn't sure if that video that they had CCTV of him, I guess attacking her, but I wasn't sure if he was just beating her up or was he actually with the knife. I couldn't tell,
I think it was with the
right? And
knife. I
so
think that's what they had said, anyways.
yeah, I really couldn't tell, right? So because when the kid's on the father's side, it was like, oh shit, So I'm pretty sure that he's lock, stock, barrel. It's gone. He's done, right? Unless I'm missing something from that video.
Sure. I mean,
Um,
I mean, which one makes the second episode kind of like, what was the point in that ultimately?
well,
Um,
I mean, the point is because
because I get where they're going.
it's not an open and shut case. Okay, he did it, done. Let's go move on because
I mean,
it's on. It was like I said, the aspect was number
you
one.
have the
There isn't.
video.
Did he do it?
You had the
They answered
video.
that question. It
Yeah.
sounds like he did. Second episode. Okay, why? Right. And they start investigating. They start finding out stuff that us, as adults, we don't get a lot of the Instagram texting, WhatsApp lingo and times, and the cacao was like, "What is this? What does that mean?" And so you start revealing that okay, well, it's not as simple as okay, if he killed her, in quotations, right? It's not been proven yet for chits and giggles, right? What was behind it? And actually, there was a lot of other pieces, moving pieces involved, right? The friend I'm not sure about the other friend, the girl's best friends, other things, right? But this school was like, Jesus, man, it's like a zoo, man. My God, where's the control?
It's cool. I guess I would say I'll put this: the third episode could have given us all that information. She could have brought it up and say, "Hey, the whole bullying thing and all that's an aspect to his psyche," which is that third episode is doing. And I like the third episode, but it didn't fit along with the rest of the show.
Well, I mean, I third episode.
They
I
focusing on
mean,
the two cops we don't never see again, an investigation that is not fully fleshed out in the show, right? So they were just introducing. I don't need an hour for me to tell me, oh, he's being bullied. I don't. You know what I'm saying? Because it's one shot and it can't go anywhere else in this. You could have combined the second, third episodes in one if it wasn't one shot. The design is to do something so creative and do something cool that they didn't plan out to. We're like, okay, quote the great Ian Malcolm, Jurassic Park. They swore about if they could, then they would think about what if they should, right?
mhm.
I get it. It's cool to do one episode, but does it work from a narrative standpoint? Because we don't go back to these cops. We don't go back
It
to the
worked. It worked
investigation.
for me in
It
the
worked
story they're
at
trying
the
to
time.
tell.
At the time, but when you see the whole, when you take a step back and say, okay, because you think it's going to lead somewhere, but it
Well,
didn't.
I mean, I haven't seen
Right.
the last episode, so
That episode
maybe it goes
has
nowhere.
it goes nowhere. That episode it's really on the
Okay.
family, right, and the effects on the father and all that, and what they're going through, which is cool, a good aspect of it. And that's it. There's no trial. There's nothing, right? Nothing like that. And there's no going back to the cops, or going back to the therapist. It's very each
Well,
individual
it's only
section.
4 episodes, so I
Correct,
mean,
right. So I'm saying the
maybe it's
second,
too short.
you could have done one shot in sections. But second and third episode, you got to combine them, right? I don't need an hour to tell me, oh, he's being bullied. That's a sentence in any script. Oh, so tell me about this bullying that the police discovered,
Yeah, but he was
and
bullying, but I mean, but the psychology. I mean,
but
when
right,
you start looking at
but
analyzing what the
right.
questions he asked, what his views are, man, he really goes off
No,
quick. I
and
mean,
that was cool, and I like that, right? But that's all. But that's all you need to know. How they got there is unimportant, right? And that's what I'm saying. It was just it kind of lingered too much, and it didn't go anywhere. It was well done.
yeah.
Technically, is phenomenal. I'm not disputing that. It's just I don't know if it was executed as a narrative completely in 4 episodes, and the way it was structured. That's what I'm saying. It just kind of lost
And there
itself
was
to me.
ways though, because it did
Yeah.
in the second episode, but they did it right. There was no way. There was when at the very end when the cop leaves with the son, then they pan over to a drone to get us to where the father is. and the music overlay. And so like there's ways to get around
Absolutely, of course there's a way
following
around.
a
Yeah,
character like because
absolutely.
they did it. Right?
Yeah,
They say, "Yeah, okay, let's use a drone.
that's
Let's
what
do
I'm
a little
saying.
flight. Let's do a little musical montage. I fly over, and then now back on the father, right? So
Exactly. That
and
could
so
work.
you could have done that with some of it. Maybe it could have implemented that more.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
at least
Yeah.
that sounds like from the fourth episode, third episode is no, because it's just a one-to-one interaction.
Right, right, and that, which is
Um,
fine. I mean, you still could have
yeah,
done that. I mean, they don't have to be. If you quit one cut, it's not going to damage the episode because you made one cut. For
no,
the
no,
most part,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's okay. But if you combine those two, and maybe give an extra episode that kind of brings some closure,
yeah.
um, and there is closure in some ways, but not others. It's well done. Listen, there's so much potential. I just thought it was sometimes critics like this kind of artsy stuff, and again, that's the disconnect between a lot of the critics and the audiences.
Maybe it was too short. Then it sounds like.
Right, I think it is, and the audiences want to be entertained too. So a lot. I saw A24 does really well with critics and they're shitty with the fans because nobody wants to see that stuff. It's just call it what it is. Occasionally there's a gem in everything, every all at once. For an example. But it's not a terrible show. It's just I don't think it's worth the praise that it's getting. So if you're gonna go in, they're gonna in the right expectations of what you're actually going to see. It's a great, technically made show. I don't know if this wasn't a one shot, right, and that take that gimmick out of it, what we really thought about the show.
Yeah.
That's my question. It's like that was a police procedure, and you're giving us an episode. Okay, fair enough. I don't need to see his fingerprints. This we don't need that part of it. Right? It's just there because they can't transition from one scene to another, right? So you're tied down to this one shot because okay, what do you do? Well, you just watch him get his fingerprints taken. Is that something you want to see? Probably not. Or the cop in the door looking down, frustrated for like literally it was about 20 some seconds. I timed it. 20 some seconds of him doing that? Probably not, right? But they have no choice because they're setting up in the background trying to get the next shot set up, right? And that's the problem. You're tied down to it. You're a slave to it. Like I said, scene per scene. Do an action scene like that works. Doing a whole movie like that, it's just that's difficult. It really is. So,
Mm.
like, not a bad show. I still say recommend just giving it a shot. It's only 4 episodes, but yeah, the critics got it. I don't think they're over exaggerating. Next one, Dope Thief. Apple Plus dropping 2 episodes. We like some Apple Plus. This one here, we got two guys who are interesting day jobs. They pretend to be DEA agents and they, steal from the gang members, but drug individuals, whatever, drug
Yeah.
pushers, whatever. Take the money and all that. But one day they bit off more than they can chew. They went after the wrong organization apparently, and now they're going after them. And these guys you don't want to trifle with. Your thoughts on this one, Chewy? First 2 episodes.
I'm liking it, man. I'm digging it. It's different. It's different kind of story,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, and again, only 2 episodes, but what I've seen, the tension, the action, the mystery, what's going on, I'm all in. It's really, I think it's very
You
entertaining.
saw one or two? I'm sorry.
I saw both of them.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay. Yeah, dude, I'm with you. It's a cool show. Really cool show. I like the idea. I was like, oh, okay, you don't see that every day. And at first I'm thinking, I thought I may have misread the show. I was like, oh, these guys really DEA agents? I mean, they're full out. They're acting just
yeah.
like
Oh,
them.
now they got the
Yeah,
jackets,
yeah,
they got the
the
badges.
strategy, all that
Yeah,
stuff. I was like, oh, okay, maybe I misinterpreted what the show was. I was like, okay, no, they are bullshitting. Yeah, really, I love the characters. Cool as hell. Good action, tension all over the place. Second episode was really cool. Enjoying it, man. Yeah, really enjoying this one, man. So it's just kind of surprised me. I was expecting it to be this good. I'm like, okay, you're something. You make two good, strong characters. The show kind of works, right?
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
it definitely works. It's their relationship, right? A lot of flashbacks, a lot of action, a lot of nuance going on with the main character,
yeah,
this father, or this. I guess we'll call her stepmother. I mean,
or whatever, whatever. Yeah,
whatever you want to call her. I mean,
guardian.
it's mother figure, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Uh,
I mean, he's got to check it
and,
past himself in many ways.
yeah, 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 absolutely,
Addiction,
yeah,
yeah, and all that. Yeah, I
yeah,
think his girlfriend died in
yeah.
a car accident or something.
Some
Um,
kind of car accident, yes,
yeah,
yeah. While he was high, it
he's
looks
probably
like,
high,
or yeah.
exactly. So yeah, so he's struggling with being a drug addict. That's not easy to do with. He's recovering, but very
Mhm.
cool show, man. I like the premise, man. It's very interesting. So I'm kind of curious where this goes, and even
Oh, now I'm
yeah,
saying, and there's also the additional element that who they also attacked were under, I guess,
un,
FBI investigation. So there was a
undercover. Yeah,
couple of
yeah,
undercovers now unbeknown to anybody. And so now it's like, oh shit,
yeah.
it's not as simple as oh they picked the wrong guy. No, now
Yeah,
these guys were already being addressed,
yeah,
looked
it's a
at.
true
So
triangle. It's very cool. It's like a very interesting show.
mhm,
I highly recommend. Very cool on Apple Plus.
mhm.
This last one here, man, the Electric State, the film on Netflix. The Rooster Brothers, right? Marvel gods, but that's about it, right? The mere mortals outside the world of the MCU. Damn racist. Serves them right. But yeah, this one here is Chris Pratt, Millie Bobby Brown, Miss Netflix herself. Huge cast. Stanley Tucci's in this one, of course.
Oh, dude, come on, man.
It's like
I mean, Giancarlo, dude.
Giancarlo Esposito. I mean, dude, there's big names all over the place. This one here is based on our low property here.
Costanza is
George
in it.
Costanza, he's doing his thing. George is in a bad movie. Boy, this one, it's I guess it takes place in the '90s, but a different version of the '90s where robots, we had robots rising. They were just like kind of like doing manual labor. Now they want to be free, and there's a big war. Now robots they're kind of in this little camp, I guess. Whatever humanity goes on with technology. And this little girl whose brother was instrumental in all that, and in his way, she finds him, believes he was dead. His mind is in a robot, and now they're trying to find the person who can bring his conscience back to his body, basically, right? And Chris Pratt helps in because has to be that guy. Yeah, this got killed by the critics, man. It really got killed by the critics. I get it. I really do. This was not a good movie, dude. It looked great. You see where the money went to. I think one of the most expensive films Netflix has. Any movie for that, man. 330 million. I don't know that's what I hear. No, that's true or not. But man, it's kind of boring, man. I gotta be honest with you. It's kind of boring. It's not funny. What I think it's trying to be funny. Chris Pratt is wasted here. Millie Bobby Brown is awful. I hate her character, and I like her in a lot of stuff. Even in her shitty movie, she's good. Nothing works here, man. Nothing works, but the actual CGI was just pretty cool, and the concept we've seen 1,000 times. Isn't that new here? Robots uprising. We've seen 1,000 times. It didn't work, man. I get it. This is not a good film, man. It's very bad, and it's thank God Russo's are back in MCU. That's really the only way they can make a good film. It really is. Just be honest about it. Chewy, your thoughts?
Um, yeah. I mean, it was okay. I mean, it's. I don't think it's as bad with the critics. Again,
I
when
mean,
the
it's
critics say
not
it's
the.
great,
I mean,
it's
yeah,
probably not
of
that
course,
good. And
agreed.
when they say it's that
Yeah.
bad, it probably isn't
No, it's
that
not like
bad, right?
I think at the time it was 18. Now it's like 24%. I was saying the 30s. Like, it's not a good film. It's just there's no argument.
No, no,
It's
it's
not the
okay. I
worst
mean,
thing you've ever
it's
seen either,
the
right?
story. I'd say there's definitely there's a story there.
Of
Just the
course.
way it presented is
Yeah.
a little weird. I mean,
Yeah.
it was kind of. I mean, yeah. This whole. I mean, alternate high sci-fi. I guess because yeah, this starts in the '90s, right?
Yeah.
It's '90 to '94 roughly. So it's a
Yeah. More or
4 year
less.
span from the start of the World War to where it is now. And it's just odd to that kind okay, let's go back 30 years, literally 30 years, and kind of futurize it a little bit with these robots. But the robots are themselves are comical. I mean, like the Mr. Peanut. I mean, what?
Like it was. Like, I didn't get that. Like, okay, whatever. It's
I mean,
weird.
like I said, some of the things
Yeah.
make sense, but some of the things are like we're like, oh, okay, sure. But there is a interesting story behind it as far as even if it wasn't alternate history, right? Okay, robot rising, but the only way for humans to compete is to, I guess, kind of, become robots themselves. But so like I said, this is a story that makes sense, right?
It's like they use
But
avatars to just fight the
yeah,
robots.
yeah, essentially, yeah,
Essentially what
right,
it
yeah,
is, right?
mechanic avatars,
Yeah.
yeah. And so, hey, knock it off. Um, but yeah, the music selection, but mixing with the history, with the comedy, which like I said, I thought the comedy was okay when it was, but there was so little of it, where it
Oh,
was just the
very little.
tone
Yeah.
was because the Chris Pratt character in Extras Robot, that's funny. That's good stuff, right? I wanted more of that.
I'll give you that.
The
That
Millie Bobby
worked more.
Brown.
Yeah.
The aspect is it just didn't work. She just didn't work in this movie.
That's what I'm
I'm
saying.
sorry.
I 100% agree.
She was great in that Sherlock Holmes,
Yeah,
the
Enola
Sherlock
Holmes, I
Holmes
like her there.
sister.
Yeah, Enola
Yeah,
Holmes.
Nola
Even
Holmes.
that Damsel, which is not a good movie, she's good in it.
I didn't see Damsel, but
Yeah,
I
it's okay.
saw Nola
It's not
Holmes.
that good, but she's good in it. Like I said, she
Yeah.
does well.
So she was good there,
Yeah.
and she's playing. But here, I'm not just buying it. I'm just not buying what she's selling.
No,
It's not her that detracts because she's the main character, and it really detracts
that's what I'm saying.
from the movie, right? And like I said, there was parts of it that I enjoyed, some that are like whatever. It's an okay. It's not terrible. It's just
If
I.
as a Netflix is, if it was like a theatrical, it'd be off. It'd be worse,
Oh, no,
right?
no, no! I'm not paying money to go see
That's what
this.
exactly my point, right? So it just, yeah, it didn't work. I mean, yeah, it's not the worst thing they've ever done, of course not. But it's
No,
definitely I put
no.
this more in the lower level, like over the bad movies, and then most Netflix movies are okay, right?
Yeah.
This is definitely barely for the most part. But when you had this kind of budget, the names, Rooster, Chris Pratt, Millie Bobby Brown, Esposito, all these big names, you expect elevated material, and it's just nope. And some good and some
Yeah.
a lot of voiceover work from a lot of big names too.
Yeah.
When even like the short round was in this too, who's
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, he was a
yeah,
doctor. Yeah,
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 so he's
yeah.
making his rounds now. He's getting back into the limelight. Yeah, this total disappointment. But I guess I'm glad the expectations were lowered as I went into it. To be honest with you,
Mm.
because otherwise I would have been even worse. I'm like, oh, this movie is dog shit. I just expected it to be at best, and that's basically what it was. So, not a recommend. There's one I think you guys. There's other movies to watch. This is just not one of them for sure. So that's it for the week, I guess, and to leave some stuff in there for sure. And just it's an interesting week, nothing else. Next couple weeks we got a lot of things coming out. Next week we got on the 17th. There's a lot of documentaries dropping. Man, I was like, Jesus Christ, I don't know what it is about this time of year, I guess.
Manhunt at some point.
Well, eventually Osama will be found, so hopefully we're there when it happens. The trial of Karen Reed, the Body and Snow documentary, kind of murder mystery murder thing. I don't know who she is. Maybe I haven't, just don't remember this case or whatever. This is true. I have no idea.
I don't remember this case, but like I said Max stocks are pretty good generally.
Yeah, Max
So
does a good job, so we'll give it a shot. On the 19th, we got Good American Family. This is based on a true story. It reminds me of a movie called Orphan, which I'm sure maybe is the same thing now, where parents adopt this presumably young girl, 10, 11, 12 years old, whatever she is, and they find out eventually that she's not really that. She's actually a adult woman who
mm,
looks like a young girl, right?
I
And
remember
so
that. Yeah.
yeah, so this was I guess I realized like probably the same thing. I guess that's just a horror version of it. So this could
Mhm.
be interesting. It's an interesting premise. I'll give it that much. Wolf King. That's an animation on Netflix on the
Yeah.
30th. This one here, a young boy who has lineage to be the head of the
Werewolves. Yeah.
werewolves or whatever the case is. I thought it was. Of
Yep.
course, I thought it was some kind of Witcher thing. It's not. But all right, it's whatever. Anime. It's usually pretty good. Netflix. We got a Happy Face on the 20th on Paramount. This one here, interesting.
I'm a
It's
plus.
based on a true story, I guess, a podcaster who had changed her identity because her father was a serial killer known as Happy Face, right?
Mm.
So I guess it tells us that story. Very interesting. It's fascinating, actually. I didn't even know that. I heard. I was like, oh wow, that's kind of effed up. I kind of like that.
And it's Paramount, and they when they do good, they most of the shows they usually hit right
Yeah, they
where
do.
they have a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah.
good stuff.
They don't get the
Especially
yeah.
especially if it's title share and associated,
True,
for sure.
true.
And speaking of which, Landman renewed season 2, which
Well,
we expected, so that's good.
obviously, so that's definitely good news. I mean, it should be. I should be renewed.
Yeah.
The next one, The Residents. We got a comedy, Randall Park in this one. I forget the woman's name. She's actually pretty funny. It's a kind of detective, show, comedy show, whatever the case is. So,
Yeah, half hour. Yeah.
we know how these go. Hopefully, it's better
Make us
than
laugh.
it's
Make
not.
us
It's not
laugh.
Mexican, so at least it has a chance to be funny. I love you, my Mexicans. I'm just
Dude.
messing with the Mexicans. I love you guys. I'm just saying. Then we got to that documentaries galore. Two on Max. The first one, both on the 25th. We got Hollywood Demons. This one focusing on the dark side of Hollywood. Focusing
Mhm.
on I think like the first one, for example, the I guess interesting story of one of the Power Rangers, the Green Ranger.
Yep, yep,
So
yeah.
there's another
Which
one's
who
a
ended up
stalker.
being convicted, right, of murder, if
I
I'm not
believe so,
mistaken.
right? Is that what? Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. I'm trying to remember the story in my head.
Fairly
Yeah,
recently, or I guess
yeah.
in the last 5 years or so, if I
Easy, yeah,
remember.
exactly.
Yeah.
Just talking to the people involved, and some of the other stars and whatever, and every show will focus on something stock or one of
A
them was a
different, a
stalker.
different, a different personality, a
Yeah,
different person. Yeah,
it looks
yeah.
this could be interesting on Max. And the other one is Lockerbie. Of course, the bombing, the Pan Am Flight 103. We
Mhm.
just saw the show Lockerbie on Peacock.
On Peacock,
So this
yeah. So
is
the dramatization of that whole saga. So this is
yeah,
actual
yeah. This
documentary. So maybe
it could be interesting. I mean, there's a lot of shows that week in 2 weeks, and so cuts are gonna get
yeah,
made. I gotta think this may get cut from the list. There's just only so much I could do. Because I just saw it. If I haven't seen Lockerbie, this may be interesting. And maybe I
maybe
give it a
yeah.
shot. We'll see. On Apple, there we go. The Studio is picking a show that's gotten a lot of critical raves. 100% Rotten Tomatoes. Of course, Seth Rogen. He stars as kind of the head of a small studio. It's kind of how the sausage gets made, right? Kind of comedy. It kind of reminds me of what's the other one that got canceled, mind you, on
Ah,
HBO.
the one on Max, the superhero one.
Yeah, I forget the franchise.
Yes, which
Um,
I enjoyed, but whatever.
Yeah, I liked it, but a lot of times, and I saw a friend of mine did see it. He liked it. He raved about it because he said it's like Entourage in terms of behind the scenes, just with uninteresting characters, for whatever that's worth.
Okay.
Because Entourage made it fun. This one here, it's very
Yeah.
inside baseball, right? So I get why the critics will like it, right? Because they understand they're there, they see it every day, right? The studios and what happens behind the scenes and all that. We hear about it, but we're not really there. But whatever, it's got a good review, so it's Apple Plus. So okay, I'm sure it's gonna be good. The 26th, we got another. Was it Harlan Coben novel? Another one. It's like Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
caught. Yeah, the
Jesus,
Holland. Yeah,
yeah, this guy every book. This guy is the greatest literary genius I've ever seen. Apparently, because Netflix is loving
I
this
couldn't
guy.
watch the last one. Let's see if I can watch this
Yeah,
one.
I guess he's a reporter or something. He's investigating a missing girl, finds out someone close to her may be involved, something like that. So, whatever. This is a dime a dozen. Netflix. Some of them work, some don't. On the 26th, Netflix reality show, which I'm not big on. Not sure if I watch this or not. $1 Million Secret. Not really sure what this is. Chewy.
So this is so it's kind of like Trader, which has come out of Peacock, which is fairly
Okay,
popular.
okay.
So one of them is multimillionaire, millionaire, whatever, and so you got to uncover who
Who's
is who is
okay?
who's who and what's what, right? Kind of like a Clue type without the
Gotcha.
murder.
I mean, we'll see. I don't know. Prime. We got the final season of again, another final season of Bosch. It's of course Bosch Legacy. Of course, very
Yeah, we
consistent.
said that before, didn't we?
Yeah, I know. It's like, no, I guess not. It's like it's MCU. Everyone comes back. It's multiverse. I don't think there's any Latinos in the show, so it kind of coincides. Maybe Kevin Feige's doing Bosch too. I don't know. Bunch of white people. But yeah, this comes out. It's a good show. It's a consistent show on Amazon. 27th, another reality. Oh, it's a documentary, right? The Hunt for Fence Treasure, a Golden Grease,
Yes,
kind of a
yeah.
treasure
This is
hunting documentary.
a treasure hunt documentary. Interesting aspect. So yeah, like I said, this is not the reality
It's
game
not a
show.
reality show, right? It's an actual
Yeah.
documentary. So, and then we got like a comedy, right? Almost a sitcom-ish, mid-century modern,
Yes, that is
on Hulu,
correct.
dropping. I'm not sure how many episodes, but Nathan Lane is the big name here. He's very
Mhm.
funny. So there's like three gay guys who retire, I guess, and now living together. I think that's what the premise is, something like that. Um, I think it's kind of very sitcom. I don't think it's a more sitcom or like.
Yes, this is sitcom.
So we got
I think that's
we got the studio audience in the back, the old school, or no? Or is this
well,
like?
I don't know about the
Oh, I
live
don't know.
studio
When I
audience,
say
but
sitcom, I think of that, but whatever. I get it.
well, I mean, yeah,
Old school.
Seinfeld, yeah,
Yeah, of course. But I
uh,
mean, I guess it's more
you
like
know, Modern
modern day,
Family,
modern family.
that's all sitcoms, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, of course, The Office, etc. So this
Mhm.
could be interesting, and we'll see. Who knows? So an interesting week. A lot of documentaries, and I don't know. Maybe in mid-century modern, they discovered the findings of Osama bin Laden. Who knows? We'll find out. You never know. Maybe.
It's with the Epstein files.
Yeah, man, there he
Someone's
is.
fault.
There's somewhere. I don't know. It got cut. It was part
they're
of the.
supposed to they're supposed to release that, and then that's gone way of the dodo, apparently.
I don't know. Maybe you got all the government cuts. That was part of it. You gotta cut us some. All right. Netflix is not immune to the cuts. But either way, yeah, that was very entertaining these days. But that said, so a lot of stuff to talk about. Of course, we're here every Sunday to bring you the best and the worst of TV. Give you guys a better gauge of what you should be watching. So subscribe if you haven't done so already. Help us out. It's free. Takes a quick second. Hit a button. Hit the like. And we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.